Hi, I'm Kristan Erner. I'm the host of the City Savvy Show, and today I'm excited to introduce my next guest, Sarah Sklash. She is the co-founder, and I'd like to call her adventurist, of the June Motel, and she is a co-star of the Netflix series, the Motel Makeover. Sarah, welcome to my show, and thank you for coming. I've been waiting for this for weeks. I'm so excited to have you. How are you feeling today? How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be part of this today. Nice to have a chat, even if we're not on the Heydays patio today.
Absolutely, and that's where we first met. Actually, it was on the Heydays patio, and I remember you saying "Welcome" to our patio and asking us what we thought, and we thought it was really beautiful. We thought that you put it all together with at that time, because it was just the opening. The pool wasn't ready, but the motel part, it was after Labor Day, and the motel part was just starting to get going. The restaurant was just starting to get going, so it was all new, but it was beautiful. And to be honest with you, we haven't been able to leave there. We go there at least twice a week during the summer, and we just love what you've created. It's amazing. So first and foremost, Junify. I absolutely love it because you did that. You have this flair. When I watched you on the show, Motel Makeover, running around to all the different vendors, picking out the pieces for the rooms, for the restaurant. You added unique pieces. You added flair without being too over the top, but it was very chic. Where did you get this skill from? Because I know you went to the University of Western for business. How did you get this flair for design?
I think it's evolved over time, and my business partner, April, and I really bounce off of one another. So we really enjoy it, but we bring both of our skills to the table when it comes to design. We have a lot of fun. It's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of spending time, to be honest, on Instagram and Pinterest and seeing what inspires us and taking inspiration from other places and bringing that to the June. So it's never a pure copycat, but it's great to keep your eyes out and see, when you see images of other spaces, what is it that you're attracted to and what is it that you want to bring into your own space?
Right, right. And you did a good job doing that, both of you. And so, can you take us through the journey of leaving your day job to all of a sudden opening two motels? How did it start in the first place with your first property in Prince Edward County? What made you, because you were classmates, you went to school together, so you've known each other from university days. What made you leave your day job, number one? And number two is, why the motel business?
Sure. So to take you way back at 2016, it was New Year's Day, and both April and I had thought we wanted to start a side hustle. We were just going to do one weekend in Prince Edward County. I had purchased a cottage out here a few years before that, and we knew it was this area that more people would be interested in coming out and discovering. So we were going to do just one weekend. We were going to take over a motel, and we were going to run adult wine camp. But we were going to also, Junify wasn't a word yet. We were going to Junify that motel for the weekend. But at the point of, we're going to bring in new bedding, plants, all of these things. By the time we kind of thought we're going to do that, we thought, forget just doing it for a weekend. Let's look into seeing what it would take to just buy this place and run that the whole time. I used to work for the Ontario government. I was a business analyst and a project manager. And so I was in a place where I didn't realize I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I wanted to do things my own way, and I had creative ideas. And so doing something where I got to be in charge, I got to call the shots, started to appeal more and more after a decade of working for the government.
Right. And so this, first project and the second project takes money. How did you finance all of this?
A big chunk of the first project came from a vendor take-back mortgage. So
Smart.
the first motel was in Prince Edward County. It was still very much up and coming, and we were able to purchase that first motel for less than what the average price of a home in the GTA is. Motels, I think, tend to be kind of undervalued assets that most people don't really want. But the beauty of them is not only are they making you money, there's actually often a place to live on site as well. Right. So we found this motel out in Prince Edward County, mostly financed through a vendor take-back mortgage. And then on top of that, once it came to actually funding the renovations, first we had to jump right in. 2 days after we had closed on the property, without any experience in working for a hotel or motel before, we were operating and we had customers coming in. It was an existing business, so I think that kind of helped that even when we purchased it from the sellers, they already had a bunch of reservations lined up for that summer. So there was some income from our short first season running this dingy motel. And then there are across Canada, it's called Community Futures. It's sort of a government-backed small business bank. So we were able to borrow $250,000 from them to fund the renovations, cover the mortgage payment, et cetera, to get us through until we reopened in June 2017 as the June.
Wow. And so that becomes slowly a success. Then what was your criteria for the second motel? Like, you found it in Sauble Beach, obviously, because that's how we met. But why Sauble? What drew you to Sauble? What was your search criteria for the next property?
We really started, I would say, motel first. So we were looking for a property that was a little bit bigger than our first motel. Our first motel has 16 rooms. The one in Sauble has 24 guest rooms. And it also had more on site that interested us, like a restaurant and a pool. So the very first thing we saw was this really charming property that really fit our business model. So April and I went to go see the property. We actually stayed there once before we bought it. And it gave us a sense of we just spent 24 hours there, and we were charmed by the community right away. We went to the Wellness Refinery on that first visit. We went to Casero Taco Bus. And we just had this awesome time where we walked around. We sat in flip-flops the entire time that we were there. We saw a beautiful sunset. There was live music playing all over, and we automatically felt that really special feeling. And similar to Prince Edward County as well, we felt that there was this entrepreneurial spirit to the community where there were people trying new things in it. And so we felt like we'd really belong there, and that our guests as well would find the things that they are looking for when they travel. And then lastly, we hadn't at that point been up to Tobermory, but knew that was an up and coming, already a popular tourist destination, but we were starting to see the trends of more visitors going up there, going to Instagram and seeing more people posting photos from there than we had ever seen before. So we knew the proximity to all of what's offered in Bruce Peninsula would really appeal to travelers. And really our target market has been primarily, we understand people in Toronto want to get away on the weekends. So all of this in pretty close proximity to the city.
Right, and it's an easy drive. It's actually an easier drive than driving to Huntsville. There's no traffic, very little traffic anyway, so it's just a fabulous spot. It's a great location. Now with this one, I know the first one you mentioned, you got a vendor take-back mortgage. Did it happen the same way with the Nights Inn?
Not with the Nights Inn. So most of our financing for this project came from one, there's the Canadian Small Business Financing Loan, which is issued through most of the major banks. So we were able to get a very large mortgage on the property. And then we refinanced our initial motel as well to contribute to the costs of purchasing it and redeveloping it.
That's amazing. We have a lot of clients that have a hard time with the thought of refinancing their own homes to buy new doors, condos and investments. And so, a lot of people have a hard time stomaching that. So how did you, stomach the idea of financing your first property to go forth with the second one? Was it hard? Was it gut-wrenching? Did it make you nervous?
It definitely made us nervous when the pandemic hit. And we weren't sure whether or not either property was going to be able to open. That's when it got terrifying. We really thought, we might lose both properties. And we had also secured the mortgages with each of our homes as well. So up until then, we're like, we're going to do what we need to do to make our business grow and succeed. I do a lot of the number crunching myself. And so, I felt really confident in our business case, but who knew a pandemic was on its way and was going to throw a big wrench in all those plans.
And it stopped everything, all your workers, everything stopped. I mean, the show shows that for a couple of months, nothing happened, and which meant that there was going to be a delay in opening, because I know us being up there, we had expected, we didn't know the pandemic was going to come. Nobody knew this was going to happen. We thought you were going to open in the spring and everything was normal. And then everything just stopped. And then you weren't able to open until after Labor Day. And I kept on thinking, how are you doing this? This must be incredibly stressful to have this property, pay for, when things reopen, pay for the trades, have all these families. You're responsible for a lot of people. And it must have been, and I did see, on the show, when I watched the show, I could tell you were stressed out. You were obviously stressed out, but you pushed through, you persevered, even when they found that water leak and they said maybe it's the main trunk line going through, and luckily it wasn't. And, but I find it amazing that you were able just to keep on trudging through and finally bring the June to life. And everybody that I know talks about the June. I know we talk about the June. We are probably two of your biggest fans. I know you have thousands, but we are so happy that you actually came to Sauble, because when you did, and especially when you opened, you actually changed the business landscape of Sauble, of what it was compared to what it is now. And you really were quite the architect when not only coming to designing the June, but actually changing what Sauble Beach is. And Sauble Beach is now, I think you talk about it, that when April and you first came, when it was nights in, you stayed there and you walked in flip-flops and you went down to Casera, and then you walked down to the beach, and you saw this forward thinking. We never thought of it that way, Sauble. We thought of it as being stuck. We saw the amusement park being, sitting there for years, untouched, falling apart. When I first drove into Sauble 6 years ago, I didn't see what you saw. And obviously you saw something that I missed. But now when I drive into Sauble, I see what you see. But I see something bigger now. I see the city that is now, or this town that's attracting some big businesses after you've come to town. And all I can say is kudos to you and April for doing this. It's been amazing. And bravo. I want to say something or ask you something too, because you mentioned with the PEC, or the Prince Edward County property, it didn't have a pool. It didn't have a restaurant component. And on the Netflix special, Motel Makeover, you said, wow, we've never been, you walk into the front door and you walk to where the check-in used to be. And then you could see where the bar used to be. And you say you've never been in the restaurant business before. So that component you left alone, and you said, okay, well, we're going to find a partnership to take over the restaurant aspect of the June. How did you find your new partners, Katie and Fred?
So we were just kind of reaching out to everyone we knew, saying, do you know anyone who might be interested in opening a restaurant in Sauble? And I think kind of similar to you, not everyone saw the potential in Sauble Beach. It wasn't the place that everyone had necessarily heard of or been to before. So eventually we got to the point where we posted on Instagram, does anyone want to open a restaurant in Sauble Beach? We're looking for partners. And there's Fred and Katie, and there's Emma and Evan as well. And it was Emma who saw the Instagram post or story and shared it with the rest of them. So, we didn't know them at all going into this, but we have to say we really found the perfect partners that bring, we get to do the fun thing that we like, which is designing the space, designing the experience. And they're amazing when it comes to food service and creating new dishes. And it's all so delicious. So we really found the right partners there.
I would agree with you. And my bank account would agree with you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right. We adore Fred and Katie. We really like them. Evan and Emma are amazing. They've always made sure that our experience was top notch, which is what you would want as a restaurant partner, to make the June, kind of meld together where you have this perfect experience. And every time that we go there, we really like to have our backs to the wall and watch what's going on. So you have the hotel or the motel here, you have the pool there. Sometimes there's a band playing at the top deck of the pool. And then you have the restaurant, you have the boutique store. And we like to people watch. And every time we go, it's different. It's an experience. And if you haven't been to Heydays and the June, you have to go. It's just like nothing I've ever seen. And considering the budget that you had, considering that you had to pull back because things were getting more expensive, COVID happened, you couldn't get materials, you really pulled it off. And not many people could do what April and yourself could do. I know I had met your parents, and I like your parents a lot. I think they're amazing people, and I can see where you get it from, because they're marvelous. I remember seeing them this summer, and they're just awesome. And you grew up, I believe, in Windsor?
I did, yes.
Right. And so your parents still live in Windsor, I would imagine?
They do, yes.
They do, right? Amazing. My sister actually went to the University of Windsor Law School. So we visited quite a bit. Great place to live, and not far from the June. So when you now say at the end of the show, or people ask you, what's next? Is there another property coming? Is there a third June? Do you have any plans for that?
There will be a third June. We are just starting now to take a look around and see what interests us. But April and I have realized it's what our passion is finding those diamonds in the rough, and they might be in a location that we haven't been to before. So we are starting to look around and figure out where it's going to be, how big is it going to be, and all the fun business stuff that goes into acquiring probably a bigger, not necessarily better property, but we are going to keep raising the game, I think, as we continue to grow.
That's amazing. Any plans any changes coming to the June in Sauble, or is it pretty much done and you're going to just continue on with your growth?
Well, we really keep our ears out for feedback from guests and customers. So one of the things that we're hearing is a desire for more happening in the evenings in Sauble.
Right.
One of the things that's been so successful at the June in the county is we have these campfires every evening that's attached to our lobby bar. So for next season, you'll see a few more fire pits on the property. We're going to work on our wine and cocktail program over in the shop to have, once you're done your dinner at Heydays or you're waiting for a table at Heydays, there's another place to go, hang out, and enjoy.
That would be awesome. That would be really awesome. That would be a welcome addition to what you already have, which is great. A place to lounge, and enjoy a cocktail, listen to music. I always, when I listen to the bands there, it's just always such a nice thing to have. We enjoy being there. I'm sure your guests. I noticed that a lot of your guests, it's either not wedding parties, but bridal showers and baby showers. There's a lot of women, and I think that's what the June is geared towards, right? But I also see families that come there, so it's certainly a nice mix. But you had mentioned, I was watching you on another. I was kind of stalking you. I was watching you on another podcast, and you were saying that you're almost catering towards women and women getting together and enjoying themselves. What is behind that?
We feel that as the creator of a business, the easiest person to design a business for is something that you would enjoy yourself, and a service, fill that gap of something that's not currently out there. So it's really thinking, if I were to go to Sauble, what are all the things I would want? And the interesting thing is research has shown that travel decisions, 70% of them are made by women. And they might bring along their partners, their families, or their group of friends, but targeting women for a travel business is actually, it's a great strategy that's worked really well for us.
Absolutely smart. I find it brilliant. I think you've done a good job doing that, both you and April and the whole team, because you have Chantel, you have a lot of people, you have Evan, you have Emma, you have Fred, you have Kate, you have a lot of staff that really care about your business, and it shows, and people keep on coming back, and you are completely booked, which is fabulous, and we're really happy for you. I just wanted to say thank you for coming to Sauble. I think it's been a highlight to our experience there as a family, and I would actually like to, kind of make a toast to you if I could, because we know.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
We have our Heydays glasses.
Oh, perfect. I don't.
But cheers to you, and cheers to April. We wish you all the best. And this is rosé.
Perfect.
For you. And cheers.
Cheers.
Sarah, thank you so much for being on. We enjoyed every minute of it. I really, really appreciate you and your business partner, April, your parents, and your business family. I wish you nothing but success, which I know you're going to get. And I look forward to following you on your next adventure.
I look forward to seeing you on the Heydays patio sometime soon, maybe next week.
Hopefully next week. I think next week sounds great. And thanks once again, Sarah Sklash from the June Motel. Please watch Sarah and the gang on the Netflix series Motel Makeover. It's a great series. It's a must watch. You need to look at it. Sarah, thank you. I'm Kristan, Erner, the host of The City Savvy Show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.